Arizona Senate candidate Kari Lake suggested to reporters they might want to arm themselves in the run-up to the fall election, to supporters, I should say. She made the comments at a campaign rally on Sunday.
The next 6 months is going to be intense, and we need to strap on our, let's see, what do we want to strap on? We're going to strap on our seatbelt. We're going to put on our helmet, or your Kari Lake ball cap. We are going to put on the armor of God. And maybe strap on a Glock on the side of us just in case. You can put one here and one in the back or one in the front, whatever you guys decide. Because we're not going to be the victims of crime. We're not going to have our Second Amendment taken away. We're certainly not going to have our First Amendment taken away by these tyrants.
Not great audio there. If you couldn't hear it, she said she wanted to put on a seatbelt, put on the armor of God, and yes, a Glock on her hip, and then got into some comments about the Second Amendment. Meanwhile, Republican Senator Tom Cotton of Arkansas is doubling down on his comments. We told you about these yesterday, where he urged citizens to, quote, forcibly remove pro-Palestinian protesters blocking traffic on major bridges and roads across the country this week. Cotton told people to, quote, take matters into their own hands against demonstrators and to confront them with the use of physical force. Here is Senator Cotton doubling down on that stance to NBC News.
Vigilantes are blocking traffic in the streets when moms are trying to get kids to school, or people are trying to go to the hospital, or just trying to get to work, should be removed from the streets. Yes, I said that. I posted it. I would say it again today, and I would do it myself if I found myself in that situation.
But you said people should take matters into their own hands. Can you just clarify what that means? Because some people think it could call for violence.
It calls for getting out of your car and forcibly removing pro-Hamas vigilantes who are blocking the streets on major highways so traffic can continue.
Senator Cotton maintains he's not calling for violence against the protesters, but did share a video on Twitter showing a group of men dragging protesters off the road, with the senator captioning, quote, how it should be done. So, Joe and Mika, we talked about this yesterday. Senator Cotton says he does not want you to go and use violence against the protesters. We also talked about yesterday how annoying it is, and we think probably an ineffective way of winning hearts and minds to lock down roads and prevent people from getting where they're going. But that's separate from what the senator is saying here.
Well, yeah, and of course he went down the list of things that we said make us angry when idiots go out and decide they're going to protest by blocking roads, stopping people from getting their children to school, or people maybe taking their elderly parents to a hospital. It is just so dangerous and, again, counterproductive for any cause. Anybody that does that, I'm against your cause. Just, you know, I think that's how most motorists would agree with it. But really, he can't really step out of the fact that he was talking about ripping the skin off of people's hands. He was talking about throwing people off the Golden Gate Bridge. I mean, this happened on the Golden Gate Bridge. Said, well, in Arkansas, we'd throw them over the bridge. That's where they need to do that. They need to. And so you have, again, him talking about violence. And you just ask yourself, why does a politician think that's the road to popularity? Kari Lake talks about the armor of God and carrying a Glock. For some reason, with that audience, carrying a Glock gets a bigger cheer than the armor of God. I think back when I was running, at least for people in most audiences, armor of God would probably do better than strapping on a Glock, because if you say that, people go, what's wrong with him? I mean, and it goes, again, the audience cheering for that, you know, reminds me of Donald Trump and audiences gleefully talking about a man in his 80s being awakened from sleep and nearly being bludgeoned to death by a hammer. They still celebrate. And I say they, not just Donald Trump. You can all say, oh, how sick Donald Trump is. Look at the audience. The audience is cheering. They're laughing that a man in his 80s got bludgeoned almost to the point of death by a guy that went in, screaming, the MAGA chant, "Where's Nancy? Where's Nancy?" So this is just, again, the glorification of violence. And the big question is, why does this glorification of violence sell so well in Donald Trump's Republican Party? It's just it's sick, it's sad, it's un-American.
It's scary, and Willie, once again, we have to look at this for what it is, or what it appears to be like, and it's almost cult-like behavior, mimicking him, taking on his positions, even if some of them are evil and cruel and violent.
Yeah, everyone's doing sort of a poor man's version of Donald Trump at these campaign rallies. Right. I think that's what you saw from Kari Lake at that rally. And to Joe's point, it was almost like she didn't get the response she wanted by saying armor of God. So she said, I better throw the Glock into the conversation, and she did. And Senator Tom Cotton obviously is taking cues from Donald Trump, too. They know what works with their base, and they're going to keep pushing on that. And when people in the media call them out and question it, there's some value for them with that base to double down on it. So that's part of what we saw yesterday.
Hey, everyone. MSNBC has a new and improved app. You'll get real-time alerts and analysis, live blogs, in-depth essays, video highlights, and the best 2024 election coverage. Download the new MSNBC app. Here's how to do it. You tap on the App Store on your phone. You hit search on the bottom right corner. You type in MSNBC. You click on the MSNBC app. You click on Get or the cloud icon and enjoy it.